Hi, thanks for tuning in to the Ask Valor Masterminds podcast, brought to you by CR Gutters and A Advanced Septic Services. My name's Galan.
I'm Joe.
And we're coming at you from the BD Local Studios in Tacoma, Washington. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the podcast. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Ask Valor Masterminds podcast. My name is Galan.
I'm Joe.
We're coming at you from the BD Local Studios in Tacoma, Washington. Presented also by our sponsors, A Advanced Septic and CR Gutters. So, Joe, to our new listeners and viewers, can you tell everyone how our podcast came to be, please?
Absolutely. So it first started as a Facebook group page. We wanted to bring businesses together to kind of just communicate with one another, ask questions, share tips, and just a way to give back to each other. And we thought, what a better way to do that than to start a podcast, bring on different special speakers or guest speakers to talk about all different topics as it relates for business.
Awesome. And we're really excited today to have our guest, Edwin Edebiri, the Chief Happiness Officer of the Happy Neighborhood Project. Edwin, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. I am happy to be here.
Awesome. And we'll get into more of that a little bit later. But Joe, our previous episode, we had Dr. Scott Dell, who was our first academic on networking, LinkedIn professional, wrote a book, Your Complete Guide to Succeeding with LinkedIn. What was one of the main takeaways that you had with Dr. Scott last episode?
The one that stood out the most to me was just having a why in what you do. No matter if it's what's your why for business, what's your why for your family, what's your why for different things that you do, just having a why, it helps push you along your journey.
Awesome. And the one thing that was my main takeaway, he said, 2 ears and 1 mouth. So let your body tell you kind of what you're doing. So in terms of networking, if you have 2 ears, you should listen more to networking than dominate speaking to people, right? Mm-hmm. So you also focus on the other person, not be so self-centric. So cue image 2. Joe, can you tell everyone about our Valor Cares initiative, please?
Absolutely. Love this one. So during COVID, we, as a company, we're still growing and we're still helping businesses. And we were like, what could we do to give back to businesses who are giving to us? So what a better way than to give something away, right? Everyone likes something free. So it's our #Valor Cares movement and where we give away website builds every single month. So we started out with just 1 website build for free. And now we're giving away up to 4 websites every single month. So if you're a business owner and you don't have a website, or maybe your website's outdated, or maybe your brother's best friend's cousin built your website and you don't have access to it and you need to make some changes, now would be a good time to submit your information. You just go to the valormarketingllc.com/Valor Cares and submit your information, and a committee of people will choose up to 4 winners every single month.
Awesome. We'll have more information on that within our social media feed. So cue image 3. Now we come to the part of our podcast, our A Advanced Septic Pump You Up Quote of the Day. So we have 2 different quotes because we're going to be really happy today. So the first one, Edwin, I heard this on your TED Talk. So do not allow the past or future to rob you of the present. So that was one of the sayings that you said. Why does that inspire you so much?
Well, because I was interviewed in one of the local affiliates for ABC, and the lady asked me, what is the most important thing as a chief happiness officer if you were going to make a recommendation? I said it's just people don't focus on the present. We are so stuck in the past because of the bad memory, and we are so scared of the future because of what we don't have any control over. And so in the process, we just let the present go away, Right. So and when it's all said and done, it's only the present that counts. Just like I'm here with you right now, information we share right now, whatever we do right now, that's what that matters, because we don't have any control whether tomorrow is going to come, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about the past except to learn from it. So if we allow the past or the future to rob off our present, we don't have any happiness.
Awesome.
Perfect.
And cue image 4, I wanted to put this quote up too. So a quote by Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So Joe and I watched your TEDx talk and you told the story and everything, but what kind of motivated you to this idea of happiness, where did that whole start, the I Am Happy project?
Well, it was back in 2009 at the height of the recession. I saw people that I knew that were very happy people, very positive people, and all of a sudden they were down. They were just scared. And some of them, this is really weird. Some of them I will go to, I say, hey, what is going on? You kind of make an assumption. Maybe they lost their job or maybe their retirement plan is down. And they say, no, but they're just afraid that so many people, something is happening to, that something would happen to them, So they just stuck about that. So I just went out on the street. After one day I get out of meditation, I was feeling really good. I just went out on the street and I started talking to people about happiness. And so my goal was just to shift their mind from all the negativity into something positive, because I feel like if they are focusing on the positive, then they will not be as scared. And also they will be more hopeful. And I end up interviewing over 1,000 people on the subject.
Awesome. So cue image 5. So now we come to our CR Gutters Did You Know segment. So this with marketing, and I wanted to take a different way. Cue image 6 now. How do others perceive you when networking? So the Happy Neighborhood Project provides free worldwide networking. Edwin, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have over 65 worldwide events, right?
That is very correct. We started with one last year when the pandemic was first starting out. Again, it's kind of really weird because it was like I told my team, I said, okay, we've been here before. Okay, during the recession, we were able to help individuals shift their mind away from all those negativity. So what can we do for small business that are hit very hard with this pandemic? I mean, they were losing job, losing business. And so we decided, okay, we can do exactly what we did in 2009, in 2020, to shift the small business mind away from all the COVID talk and just focus on how they can help each other, how they can collaborate. So March 20th of last year, which is approximately a year ago, we hosted the first event. There was about 100 registration to that one event. And it wasn't supposed to be a weekly event. It's just that people asked for it. They were like so happy. They were so thankful. So we did it the next week and then the next week. And then before we know it, people were inviting more people to join it. And then we just started doing more. And now, like you said, we host 65 different events every week with about 20,000 plus registration about a year later.
And that's all free.
All free.
People, our listeners and viewers out there will put some information on our post, but this is a free networking resource. So
and it's free now, and it's also free forever, because I know sometimes people are afraid of free stuff because they figure, okay, if I come one time or two times, then they might try to get some money from me. No, this was a commitment we made back March 20th of 2020 that is going to be free and free forever. And so far, we have kept our promise.
Awesome. And I applaud you for that, to help entrepreneurs like ourselves, small business people, to kind of connect. So cue image 7. I just want to go through these real quick. Body language makes you more sincere. So if you are going to get on free networking, you might as well make it count. No one wants to talk to someone slouched, depressed. If you're going to have your time in front of the camera in your breakout room, make it count. Do you agree, Edwin?
Absolutely. Because again, when it's all said and done, people don't really know you from Adam or Eve. And so they're going to try to add as many things together as possible. And so if you come in and you are not standing straight and your head is not looking, at them, having a eye contact with them, and then they're going to start to add things together. And sometimes they just stop. Or they just like, okay, I can't trust this person. I'm not sure what's going on here. And you don't want that. You want your body language to be consistent with the message that you are bringing across in your mouth.
Awesome. So cue image 8. So since I'm kind of a stats nerd, I wanted to put this up. So 7% plus 55% plus 38% equals 100%. So what does that mean? So cue image 9. So the words you say are just 7% of what others perceive. So a lot of it is standing straight up, how you look, how you present yourself. If you're wearing a t-shirt with holes in it, you look professional. I mean, what you're saying, people don't get when they first look at you, right?
Right.
So
I agree.
It matters on how you look. Q image 10. So in fact, 55% of communication depends on your facial expressions and posture. The other 38% from the way you speak. So Edwin, when you speak, at the International Happy Day of Happiness and different things, you have so much like energy, passion. So what is one thing you could say to people if they're networking for the first time when you talk about facial expressions and posture, why it's important when you get in these groups to really show who you are?
Well, first of all, I mentioned earlier on, people are trying to gauge who you are because they don't know you. And so if you show up and you are distracted, and they are talking and you go into the refrigerator to pick a drink or you try to refill your coffee, they just like, okay, this person is not interested in what I'm saying, and once they make that conclusion, not only they're not going to refer people to you, they're definitely not going to do business with you because they don't like you,
Right.
and if they don't like you, then it's very hard for them to trust you. And so when you show up and you're totally present, people appreciate that. In short, sometimes when I'm in a breakout room or I'm in a networking situation, I take permission from people. I say, hey, do you mind if I take notes? And the reason I say that is I don't want them feeling like I'm not paying attention when my eye contact is moved away from them, because sometimes with Zoom, you don't really know where the notepad is. You don't know what's going on. And so you might be taking notes and they don't know that. They just feel like you are distracted. So, but if you take permission, it does two things. Number one, it shows, whoa, this person is really interested in what I'm saying. And then number two, it doesn't feel like you are distracted. They realize, okay, that's the way you're doing it. We appreciate you.
Awesome. So last one of our CR Gutters, did you know, Q image 11. So your most powerful secret weapon for networking success, your smile. So networking is about building meaningful relationships. The best start to meaningful relationship is a smile, a genuine smile. Smiling improves your appearance, creates trust and rapport, and overall just helps you and others around you feel good. And in networking, smiling shows that you are open to conversation. You open yourself up. And you're a perfect example of that, Edwin, of the platform you're able to create and how you're able to influence everyone around you. So appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Definitely appreciate that. And I just want to add one quick thing to that, though. Is it's very hard for you to be stressed and smiling at the same time.
Yep.
Unless you're a really good actor, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly. That's why I say it would be very hard,
Awesome. So now we'll give a more formal introduction of Edwin and get to know him. Q image 12. So this image, actually, I snapped of you on the International Happy Day of Happiness, actually on the 19th, on the Friday, the first event. So Edwin Edbury is the founder of the Happy Neighborhood Project, a registry for happy businesses, and the I Am Happy Project, now in 64 cities and 19 countries with over 70,000 members. His purpose is to inspire and encourage others to do their full potential and have a positive impact on the world through service and love. We love the service mindset. He's a pioneer of happiness as a skill. He teaches happiness class to high school and college students. He also conducts happiness at work sessions. He's a TEDx speaker and workshop leader with over 30 years of experience. Dynamo of humor and enthusiasm. Edwin stands at the forefront of the entrepreneurial spirit. He holds an MBA with honors from Embry-Riddle Aeronautics University in Daytona Beach. Serves on the board of various profit and nonprofit organizations, including the Junior Achievements of Sacramento, where he is. He has done extensive research on the subject of happiness. As he mentioned, he interviewed over 1,000 people during the height of the recession. So it's not like when people are up, when people are down. And when not busy networking or spreading happiness, he enjoys his hobby as a pilot. So Edwin, we formally welcome you. Thanks for being on our Ask Valor Masterminds podcast.
What I love about that with your interviewing 1,000 people is you just randomly walked up to people on the street. So if you haven't watched his TEDx talk, we'll put a link in there, but you definitely need to watch his TEDx.
Yes, very inspiring. So Joe, first question?
Sure. So what are some lessons that you learned as an early entrepreneur?
So I think it's just having the right people around you. It's so crucial that, as an early entrepreneur, you have this idea, you get very excited, you want to conquer the whole world, and then you start to make mistakes. You start to try to figure things out. I think it's so cool if you can have people around you, that have been there. They've done that, and they can see a little bit ahead of you and be able to say, hey, you know what? If you continue that direction, this might happen. It may not happen,
Right.
but the fact that they brought it to your awareness allow you to think about it a little bit differently than just stepping into it. So having people around you that have been there, always very helpful.
So in your 30 years of experience, more in your business career and everything that you've done, what is the best piece of advice that you've been given?
Is that things never end up the way you started. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs, they try to stick to the same thing they were doing, and you just have to be open. You have to be willing to let go. I'll give you a perfect example is our online networking. Before COVID, that's not what we were doing. I mean, maybe we might do one event that people show up a month, and when COVID started to happen, I told my team, I said, hey, there's COVID. From what we are hearing, nobody seems to know anything about it. But based on what we are hearing, this is a complete game changer. And as a result, the old rules doesn't apply. Thinking outside the box is not going to be good enough. So we have to throw away the box completely,
Right.
And that's what we did. And when we throw away the box, and we were able to think freely. So yes, knowing that the way you start something and the way you end, very different.
Awesome.
So why is marketing a business so important?
Well, we've seen people that have very good idea and maybe even have very good product. But if you are the only one that know about it, it's not going to move. I mean, that's just the truth, And so that's one reason I would say a lot of business fail. They are excited about their product. Their product might be a really good product, but nobody know about it. And so when they even start to talk to people about it, the way they talk about it, because they don't have any experience, they tend to say the wrong things and they turn off people. And so I think what marketing does is it allows you to be able to package your story in the right way, and that can appeal to your target audience. And then you let the message do the work.
Right. Awesome. So cue image 13. So Edwin's talk, his TEDx talk, happiness as a skill. So there was three things that kind of takeaways that I want you to cover for our audience. So the 24-hour promise, the 3-minute rule, and compassion. But real quick, I just want to ask you another question, an extension of the kind of getting to know you. So since March 20th, you started having the Zoom meetings, the pivot to Zoom and everything. What is one thing that you are most proud of with the Happy Neighborhood project that you could share with our audience?
Oh my goodness. First of all, there's a lot of stuff. But I would say the top of it was a gentleman called me and he said, Edwin, I just want to say thank you. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You're welcome, And he said, no, you don't understand. He said, I've been in business for like 25 years and I've been very successful in my business. When COVID hit, I was through off. For the first time, I started to sense that I was getting depressed, and I've never been depressed in my life. And then somebody encourages me to come to one of your events. At first, I did not want to come because I'm like, this is not the time to network. I'm just trying to figure out how my business is going to not just vanish. But I went ahead and I showed up, and you changed my life. It said, you gave me hope when I was hopeless. Folks, I'm telling you, I was like, wow. I mean, I know we were bringing people together. I never knew we were having that kind of impact on people's life. And then after that, it just became posting after posting. Sometimes they post on LinkedIn, they post on my Insta message, they post on our Facebook wall. And that's when we realized that we are helping thousands of people not just stay in business, but truly be happy in the midst of pandemic. That was exciting.
Awesome.
So real quick then, for our listeners who don't know, can you explain what the happiness what happiness neighborhood project is?
So Happy Neighborhood Project started out as a registry for small businesses. And what happened was that I came across a study that was done by Harvard Business Review. And they said that happy businesses attract 37% more customers. So I was very excited. I've been doing happiness stuff now for some time before that. So in my mind, this was the first time I realized, whoa, happiness and business can really get together, you know? So I went out and started looking for, okay, how do I find happy business, you know? But
Right.
there was nothing. There was no easy way to find happy business. And people were laughing at me, you know, like, what do you mean happy business? Give me a break, you know? And so that was when we started to do research. And then we said, okay, since there's no platform out there for happy business, let's build one. And so that's how Happy Neighborhood Project kind of started. And now we have this huge online networking that we are doing.
Awesome. So happiness as a skill. So we have a lot of people watching, sometimes for the first time, and I think maybe some Happy Neighborhood Project members will watch this too. But you talk about the three things: the 24-hour promise, 3-minute rule, and compassion. So the 24-hour promise. So for our people out there who are looking for their happiness, haven't come out of their shell yet, can you tell everyone what the 24-hour promise is all about?
Well, it's a very simple concept, although it can be challenging in the beginning. Okay, so it's one way that I have discovered that people can use to raise their level of happiness. So it doesn't matter where you are, even if you're going through a little bit of depression, you know, of course, seek professional help. But if you wake up one day and you just promise yourself that you are going to be happy for the next 24 hours. And the reason that I did 24 hours is I tested it on different lengths. You know, first I say, okay, let's be happy for a week. You know, what about a month and stuff like that? Then it dawned on me that a lot of the reason that most people are not successful with their New Year resolution is that they just wake up and just set this big goal, you know, I'm going to exercise for this new year, you know, and of course it doesn't work. So by the 15th of January, they forget their resolution and they are back to where they are. So I said, no, I'm not going to set people up for failure. I want to make it baby step, you know. So if you wake up in the morning and you promise yourself you're going to be happy for 24 hours, first of all, your brain will not struggle with you. Your brain will not argue with you. Your brain will be like, okay, you know what? We can do this. I mean, come on, it's only one day. We got this, you know? And then I'm telling people, if for some reason you're really going through depression, you are struggling, don't start with 24-hour promise. Start with 1 hour promise, you know, and maybe even just do 30 minutes promise, you know, because the whole idea is a baby step, is to rewire your brain. Mm-hmm. Now, here is the thing though. And I'm going to tie it with the compassion because they kind of work hand in hand. So let's say you make a promise to yourself, you're going to be happy for 24 hours. And then 3 hours into it, something bad happened. Most people will get frustrated. They will start to be mad at themselves. They start cursing themselves. They say, give me a break. Everybody can do 24 hours. You cannot even do 24 hours. What kind of person are you? You know, maybe you don't even deserve to be happy. They just start bombarding themselves. So that's when I came up with this self-compassion, because most people are compassionate to other people, but they are not compassionate to themselves. You know, think about this, guys. If your friend tried to do something and they couldn't quite do it, you're not going to go to them and start just cursing them out. You are going to encourage them, okay? You know, you're going to encourage them. You're going to say, come on, you got this. You know, I got your back. You know, you can make it happen. So all I'm asking people to do is that compassion you have for others, have similar compassion for yourself. So if in 3 hours something happened, life throws you a curveball and you can't do it, don't beat yourself. Instead, be thankful for the 3 hours you did it correctly. Say, yes, I did it for 3 hours. Okay, whatever it is, let's deal with it. And then recommit yourself and continue your stuff. So that way you don't stop on your track. You don't just reverse your progress. And then when you successfully do 24 hours, then recommit the next hour, you know, next 24 hours. I give an example. When I go to happiness at work, I said, let's say you wake up and you promise yourself you're going to be happy for 24 hours. And then you get to a job, that same guy that always eat your lunch, that always get on your nerves. And if that guy shows up, you should just in your head think, you know what? Today is your lucky day. I'm not going to go there with you today. I'm going to stay happy, you know? And then they're going to be freaked out because they don't know what happened because you didn't react the way you normally react, you know? And now you can stay on track. So that's the power of 24 hours. And once 24 hours happens successfully, reaffirm your commitment, renew your commitment. And then you do it 24 hours at a time, your brain starts to get rewired, and soon you can be 1 week, and then you can be a month, and it's become a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So those are the two, 24 hours and self-compassion together. Now, the 3-minute rule is a little bit more complicated, okay?
All right.
That's when life throws you a curveball.
And I'm going to take notes. So if I look, I'm going to ask you to take notes here. So
please.
I could relate to this part, right? So
yeah. So when life throws you a curveball, first of all, don't just get mad. Okay, accept it. Don't struggle with it. If something terrible happened in your life, don't say, why me? Damn, another thing. No. Just accept it, because when you accept it, you are not resistant. The wear and tear is not so high. The frustration is not so high. And then study it and find out, why did the life throws you this curveball? What is the benefit that exists in it? Because there is benefit in everything, okay? So now, here is where the 3-minute rule comes about. And again, let me kind of preface this to say, guys, it doesn't start out at 3-minute rule. It did not start at 3-minute rule with me. It is through practice. Mm-hmm. Practice does not make perfect, okay? Practice makes improvement. So this is why it's happiness as a skill. It's some skill you need to develop. So practice it the first time might not work well, but practice and practice and practice. So it might be 3 weeks, it might be 3 months, but don't let it be too long, because if it's too long, then your brain is going to rewire itself to the new norm, okay? Mm-hmm. So what do I do? When something terrible happened to me, the first thing I do is I set an alarm. Okay, for me now, I've got it down to a science. Okay, I'm the chief happiness officer after us. I set an alarm for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And in that 3 minutes, I'm going to go through all kinds of emotions. Here is where people usually ask me. They say, oh, Edwin, if something happened to you, you can't bottle it in. You got to express it. I am totally 100% in agreement with that, okay? I'm just saying, don't take forever, to do it. So if something happened to me, I set the alarm. I'm going to scream if I need to scream. I'm going to cry if I need to cry. And for those guys in your audience that are listening to this, that say guys don't cry, that's a lot of BS, okay? So you need to quit that. Guys cry. If you don't cry outside, you're going to cry inside. And when you cry inside, it's more damaging, okay? You're going to explode one day and people go, whoa, where did that come from? So let it out. So I'll go through all the emotions. 2 things I will not do. I will not hurt myself, and I will not hurt anybody, okay? But everything else is free. And once the alarm comes off, that's it. I'm going to my happy self. That's why it's happiness as a default position. And people are going to say, wait a second, Edwin, human beings don't work like that. You can't just I say that is true. But guess what? Most human beings don't play basketball like LeBron James, okay?
Right.
Most human beings don't play soccer like Lionel Messi. What do? They practice, and they practice, and they practice. I feel like happiness is such an important thing in our life that we deserve to practice that skill. And here's what I'm going to share very quickly. When something happened to you, there is a situation that changed, whether you lose your job, you lose your home, you go through divorce, or you even lost a significant person. Something have changed in your life. It is called situational depression. Every human being goes through it, no exception. Now, if you are not able to cope with it and you let it drag on, I hear some counselors, they say, oh, take your time. Ladies and gentlemen, time is not your friend when life throws you a curveball. And so if you take your time and you drag it out, your brain starts to rewire to the new norm. All of a sudden, you go from situational depression, which is okay for everybody, to clinical depression, which is not okay for anybody. Now you need heavy duty medication to get out of it. And we all know how medication, before it fits what it's supposed to fit, have its own side effect. And now we're dealing with something else. So the 3-minute rule is just a practice where, yes, life is going to throw you a curveball. And the goal is not to try to prevent that. The goal is to develop a coping mechanism that allow you to get back to your default position as soon as possible.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing. We could talk forever. It's definitely a pleasure to have you on. We'd love to have you on again, hopefully sometime in the future to share more success, to continue to inspire like our audience and everything. So Joe and I appreciate what you do and how you're just, during the pandemic or the next normal, as some people are saying it, you might as well pivot accordingly and adjust for the better. So before we head off, Q Image 14, we're a proud Grow with Google partner. A lot of the workshops we have, we've been a high impact partner the past 2 years. Joe, can you tell us a little bit about our upcoming workshops we have?
Sure. We have 3 coming up. We have 2 next week. So both on April 1st, one at 8 in the morning, one at 2 in the afternoon, both Pacific time. The first one is just about reaching customers online with Google. Then you go from that to learning the basics of Google Ads. And then to finish up kind of that series the following week on the 7th at 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, it's Make Better Business Decisions with Analytics. So you learn about Google and why it's important. Then you learn about the basics of Google Ads and how you can manage it yourself. And then thirdly, you learn how to analyze the data so you can make better choices with.
And it's all free. So free workshop taught by our Google trainer. So
yeah, this one is good. Once again, is our partner is Carissa St. Laurent. She's out on the East Coast. She's the trainer with Google. And we use her. I mean, she's just an awesome person. So,
and then Q Image 2. Before our last thoughts, our Valor Cares. So one more plug for our Valor Cares initiative, Joe.
Yep. If you have a business and you don't have a website, now's the time to get one. Just go to our website, click on there's a Valor Cares page. Click on submit your information, and we choose up to 4 winners a month.
Awesome. And again, Edwin, thank you for joining us. It was completely our pleasure to share your happiness as a skill, your thoughts on it, just spending your morning with us. Again, thank you. So on behalf of our sponsors, Advanced Septic Services and CR Gutters, and Edwin from Sacramento, thanks for joining us. Take care, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for all that you guys are doing. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.